There are stories that you never imagined could happen in real life. And then there are tragedies that even the most experienced investigators can never forget. On a September night in 2009, in a small town in Beason, Illinois, a family of 6 was preparing for a peaceful evening, just like any other. Goodnight wishes were exchanged, and then everything ended in a terrible silence. A man with dark intentions broke into their home, bringing death to all of them, except for a 3-year-old child. That night, the G family's life was brutally wiped out. And the reason behind this massacre will shock you. This is a story of a case that, to this day, sends chills down everyone's spine when mentioned. Hello everyone, I'm Alex Harper, a freelance investigator. Today, I'm going to take you through one of the most haunting cases I've ever studied. The G family thought they would have another typical night, but no one could have known that this would be their last. And in this story, it's not just the brutality, it's the dark secrets, the psychological elements that make everything even more complex. Irreversible decisions, painful choices, led this family to an unimaginable outcome. The G family lived in Beason, a small town with a population of just about 200 people. A normal family with a simple life, but no one expected that this piece would turn into a trap from which they couldn't escape. Rick G was a hardworking man, always striving to build a future for his family. Together with his wife, Ruth, they raised 3 children, Nicole, Austin, and Dylan. From the outside, the G family seemed perfect, a strong father, a loving mother, and 3 children. But sometimes, these seemingly ordinary families harbor unimaginable tragedies. When challenges and difficulties pile up, tensions within a family can lead to decisions that can't be undone. Behind every smile, every hug, there may be invisible stress from within. The G family always tried to maintain love and togetherness, but it's in these moments that danger can silently build up, something they could never have foreseen. Dylan, their second son, was diagnosed with ADHD, and although the family did everything they could to help him, it wasn't easy. Jessica, their daughter, suffered from a severe neurological condition requiring special care. The family did their best, but couldn't help her recover. The family faced challenges no one could prepare for. In situations like these, every day becomes a challenge, not just physically, but mentally. When family problems are not always visible from the outside, and sometimes these pressures can push someone into actions that are difficult to understand. Imagine if you were Rick and Ruth, how would you keep your family together when challenges keep coming? Every small decision becomes a big test in a world full of tension. A family needs to overcome personal hardships, but still maintain love and support for each other in order to survive. In September 2009, when a friend came to visit, they discovered a horrifying scene. Every member of the family had been brutally murdered. Rick, Ruth, Dylan, Austin, and Justina couldn't escape this brutality. Only Tabitha, the 3-year-old daughter of the family, was fortunate enough to survive. The scene the police discovered was unimaginable. Blood was scattered throughout the house, and the victims' bodies were so brutally destroyed they were almost unrecognizable. This made me think about one question: how could someone carry out such an act against their own family? We often think that peace in a family will last forever, but sometimes the closest people to us can cause a sudden shift, leading to unimaginable decisions. This kind of act isn't just violence. It's a psychological shock to anyone who witnesses or learns about it. After the G family massacre was discovered, the police quickly launched an investigation. One of the first suspects to come under scrutiny was Chris Harris, Nicole's husband and Rick's son-in-law. The details in his testimony didn't match the evidence found at the scene. Chris was initially considered a victim, but as soon as the police started investigating, they noticed something wasn't right. When the investigators revisited the crime scene, the bloodstains and traces found didn't match his statement. This raised a big question. How could someone forget such important details? Another strange detail was that Chris said he couldn't remember the exact time of the event, but was very specific when describing the condition of Tabitha, the only 3-year-old survivor. He described her as severely injured and unable to move. Why did he remember these details so clearly but forget other important events? Chris's answers were inconsistent, leading investigators to suspect he was hiding something. You've probably wondered, why didn't Chris's testimony match the clear evidence? Could he really be a victim, or was he part of the brutality his family endured? These questions deeply troubled the investigators. Gradually, they realized that these inconsistencies could lead to an unexpected conclusion. Finally, a major breakthrough happened. Jason Harris, Chris's brother, decided to come forward with the truth. He admitted that after using drugs and alcohol, Chris began to have irrational thoughts and erupted with the intention of attacking the G family. Jason also revealed that Chris had engaged in unacceptable behavior toward Justina, the family's daughter. This was truly a turning point in the case. These new details made everything clearer. Jason, Chris's brother, finally admitted what really happened. He said that after a night of drinking and drug use, Chris started having abnormal thoughts and impulsively decided to attack the G family. When Justina rejected his advances, it ignited uncontrollable rage in him. Jason went on to reveal that Chris hadn't planned the attack beforehand. However, after feeling rejected and thinking that Justina had flirted with him, he allowed his anger to take over his judgment and carried out the attack. From then on, the G family's story shifted from a personal tragedy to a serious criminal case. And the big question remains, how could someone do something so brutal to their own wife's family? This really made me think. How does personal dissatisfaction escalate to such brutality? How can emotional deprivation and frustration turn someone into a monster? This isn't just a story of crime. It's a story of frustration, deprivation, and loss of control within a family. This story raises an important question about how we can recognize the warning signs of severe psychological issues. When a family faces these problems, do they notice the behavioral changes in their loved ones? And is there any way to stop such ruthless actions when all we see is a seemingly normal family with nothing out of the ordinary? Chris Harris was sentenced to life in prison along with other charges. While justice has been served, the loss of the G family is irreplaceable. Jason, who confessed the truth, also received a prison sentence, but his cooperation helped bring justice to the victims. After the G family tragedy, the biggest question was whether justice would be served properly and if those responsible for the crime would be appropriately punished. After a long investigation, the suspects were finally brought to trial. Chris Harris, who committed the crime, was convicted of the following charges. Chris was sentenced to 5 life sentences for first-degree murders, 30 years for unlawfully entering the G family's home, 20 years for severe assault on the victims, 10 years for causing harm to a child, and 30 years for attempted murder of Tabitha. The total prison time Chris Harris faces is 200 years, with severe charges for his ruthless actions. Jason Harris, although not directly involved in the murders, provided crucial testimony. Jason admitted the truth and testified that after using drugs and alcohol, Chris had the intention to attack the G family. Due to his cooperation, Jason received a 10-year prison sentence. Justice doesn't just come from the sentence, but also from the lessons learned about recognizing changes in behavior and psychology within loved ones. This case serves as a reminder of how family tensions can lead to severe consequences. To prevent such tragedies, it's crucial to stay vigilant and support those around us when they are going through difficult times. Tabitha, the only survivor, faced unimaginable challenges, but what's truly remarkable is how strong she has recovered. After the devastating tragedy where she lost nearly her entire family, Tabitha underwent multiple complex surgeries and recovered both physically and mentally. The healing process wasn't just a battle against physical wounds, but also a journey to restore her spirit. Her resilience and extraordinary strength have earned the admiration of the entire community. The Beason community where the G family lived will never forget what happened. But they did not abandon Tabitha. The care and support from everyone created a huge source of encouragement for her during the tough days. Neighbors, friends of the G family, and medical staff were always there, helping and supporting Tabitha. Every day, she slowly recovered, though while her physical wounds may heal, the emotional scars will take much longer to mend. One of the most beautiful gestures the Beason community made to honor the G family was the creation of a park in their name. This park is not only a green space, but also a living reminder of the love and bond within a family. It's a place where everyone can come to remember those who have passed and a space for the community to find peace and hope amidst the struggles of life. Every time someone enters this park, those who knew the G family, especially Tabitha, will remember their light, a simple family full of love. This case is more than just a crime story. It's a deep reminder of what family love can bring, but it's also a warning of what can happen when stress and hardship become too overwhelming. Truly, no one could have predicted that a family with such love and connection would face such a heartbreaking tragedy. But it's in this tragedy that we realize the importance of caring for, supporting, and being aware of the signs of change in our loved ones. If we can recognize and offer help in time, we can prevent such tragedies. From this, we can learn how to rebuild strong communities where love can help heal all wounds, both physical and emotional. The G family case left a deep mark not only on the community, but also in the hearts of everyone who came into contact with them. From a happy family to the dark days they endured, it's clear that, although the wounds are unhealable, their resilience and the support of the community have helped them continue living and hoping for a brighter future. Tabitha, with all the challenges she faced, remains a symbol of strength and hope for all of us. True crime stories like this always leave us reflecting. We never know what can happen in a single moment, one moment that changes everything. The story of the G family is a clear testament to that. In a peaceful town where people thought they were living in complete safety, brutality can strike unexpectedly. That's why we need to remain vigilant and continue to care for each other. Pay attention to the signs of changes in the behavior and psychology of our loved ones to prevent tragedies from occurring. Always remember, love and care can protect us from unforeseen dangers. Thank you for following this story. If you feel this story has given you something to think about, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to continue following real-life cases and meaningful stories in our upcoming videos.